Good morning. Well, it's not raining. That's progress, I'd say. I am on my little walk in the forest. I'm starting to really get to know this forest now. So, yeah. Ramble and ramble, as opposed to walk and talk. See what I did there? I wanted to share something really quite cool that happened yesterday. And for anybody who is setting up their own business, or even, got their side project, or has their own business but wants to make it grow. Yeah, I've discovered something really amazing, which is the Business and Intellectual Property Centre at Brighton Library, but it's not just like Brighton Library. There's a network of them, and it's really quite amazing what they offer there. And one of the things, I discovered it maybe a couple of months ago now, and they do one-to-one mentorships. It's all free. We're so lucky. And they've got all of these databases, like quite extensive databases, so you can do market research, you can research everything to do with business plans, business budgeting, marketing strategies, grant finders, loads and loads. It's endless. What they held yesterday was a coffee networking morning, which they do once a month. So yesterday was the first time I went. That's why I turn up covered in mud because it was raining. And when you live in the countryside, everything is covered in mud. So I turn up, and there was, maybe 30 of us-ish. And there were pastries and tea and coffee, and they did a beautiful welcome, and then made everybody feel very welcome, and were acknowledging of maybe people who are less confident about just going up to other people and going, "Hi, who are you?" Which I think we all find daunting to a certain extent. So it was really lovely to kind of acknowledge, it's just done very consciously. I really appreciated that. And met some brilliant people. It was excellent to be surrounded by people who are, self-motivated, driven, want to create their own in this world, and in all different kinds of fields. So it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Got lots of ideas, lots of contacts, potential work. People saying, "Oh, that would be great. I'd like to do that. I'd like to do that." Then you've got to see how many, of the leads actually transpire into, confirmed new people. But that's the way to go, right? And it was just really stimulating. It was a great way to start the week. And so I'm feeling very grateful for that. And then I had a one-to-one with somebody at the library in the business centre who was just amazing. I could go over my growing website and my business plan, and it's always useful to have somebody who's not emotionally invested in it to look at it, and also somebody who's just completely external, somebody who could be a potential customer, and go, okay, let's think about the user experience of a website. So really stimulating. I feel empowered, I feel grateful, I feel motivated, and very, just really good. It's a good thing that we have. We're very lucky. And to think, I didn't know any of this existed. If I'd known this existed, it hasn't been around for that long, I don't think, but it has been around. So really cool. And there's a brilliant place where you just go and work. So if you want to get into work mode, and maybe, also people working from home, and go there and just really focus and have a change of scenery. It's not easy to always be at home. And one of the people I met She does well-being coaching and and courses for people who are self-employed or even working from home, and the emotional impact of what that could mean, you know, not having a regular paycheck and very often spending a lot of time alone while you're working, you know, not necessarily having colleagues, all of these things that, yeah, there are advantages. Which, you know, can mean if you don't have a regular paycheck, I mean, I've been doing this for years and I personally like it. I've been lucky in that I've had regular clients. So, you know, that's the golden ticket, you know, getting regular clients that come back, you know, every month, that's priceless. But it's still not the same as a permanent contract. And you just get used to finding coping mechanisms and strategies. And then after a while you realise, you know, permanent jobs, nothing's permanent. We live in this state of impermanence. I mean, look at, can't really see it on this video, I guess, but the trees probably, compared to like the last 2 videos, more of the leaves are down here than before. You know, they fall, they change, the colours change, the water in the river changes. It isn't always at the same height, and if we can liken the water in the river to the money in our pockets, you know, but everything's cyclical. Yet it's a tough one where we want to have security. For what? Like, yeah, we can have security, but there's all sorts of security. And I think the most important type of security is emotional well-being. And it's grossly overlooked. And so, you know, how many people are out there who've got however much in their bank account and they're just not happy, or they feel scared, or they live in permanent anxiety for whatever reason. So all the coping mechanisms that you can have, you know, if you don't have a regular paycheck, you know, and I've employed, you know, various different mechanisms over the years, just using, like, kind of just sitting with myself and going, okay, this is a bit scary, okay, but what can I do to, you know, and so I would make sure that I would save and to make sure I had a cushion that, you know, if shit hits the fan, you don't have to be like, oh my God. You can, you know, you're like, oh, I've got my cushion, I have time. And in that time, I have freedom. And that's the most important thing. And, just being really organised about it. So it teaches you a lot because, you know, I remember hearing, like, in America, the average person doesn't have more than $400 in their bank account at any one time. If they were to lose their job, they're screwed. Much rather be self-employed and having, you know, having learned mechanisms to cope with that, because I don't have a boss or a permanent contract or somebody who's like, it's all right, you're in this job forever. And even that, how many people do I know, especially of late, who have lost their jobs? That, you know, you have your job and you think it's all going to be fine, and then something, you know, like all the last few years has amplified that. So it was really interesting because one of the conversations that came out actually was how many more people have decided, as a result of all the lockdowns and the fear surrounding all of this COVID narrative, that people kind of going, there's more to life. And that was one of the most motivating things I found about this networking event. And there was a lot of like-minded people, regardless of how they view everything that's happened the last few years. And they're all, you know, people quite open about talking about it and quite open about going, yeah, the government hasn't done right by us. This isn't cool. So I'm going to be my own boss. I'm going to be in charge of my life. I'm going to decide, you know, what's good for me and what's not good for me. And I just, yeah, good on them. Good on us for doing that. So, yeah. Really cool, and I wanted to share that because I didn't know about this. And yeah, massive thumbs up to everybody at the library. Brilliant. even just to be surrounded by books and people reading and writing, always beautiful. And now I'm surrounded by very slippery leaves. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there. And I've rambled on long enough, and now for more rambling with my little feet in very big wellies. All right, have a beautiful day wherever you are, whatever you're doing. And yeah, be well. Ciao.